All right, and with that, we have a guy who is in coaching nirvana, an NFL head coach, only 32 of these jobs, and he's got one of them. He's Brian Flores, the new head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing great. Now, Coach, how do you get a head coaching job in the NFL when you're not an offensive coach? I thought they only hired offensive coaches nowadays.
Well, there's a lot of great offensive coaches in this league, and I think the guys who were hired this year, each one of them, have had great years and have had great careers, and they're worthy and deserving. And again, like you said, there's only 32 of these, so it's an honor, it's a privilege, it's a humbling opportunity, and I feel fortunate to have one of them.
Hey, Brian, this is Peter King. I wonder now, you stayed in the division, which always has to be a difficult choice to want to coach in the same division as Bill Belichick. What do you think this does with your relationship with your mentor going forward?
Well, the first thing I'd say is, you guys mentioned that there's only 32 of these jobs, and for me personally, I wasn't chasing a head coaching job. It's something that I felt like it had to be the right fit, and I did feel like Miami was the right fit for me. My relationship with Bill, it'll be a little bit different, but and that we'll be competing against each other. But I'll always have a great respect for him, and I think I think it'll be the same on his part. I really do. He's been a mentor to me. He's been great to me for 15 years. He's been a sounding board for me, and I don't see that changing. The only thing that'll change is when we play each other for those 3-4 hours. We won't like each other, and that's okay. That's part of being competitors, and we're both going out to win every week. He knows that. He taught me that. So I don't think it'll be much of a big problem.
Hey, Brian, you mentioned yesterday when you were introduced as the coach of the Dolphins that there was something during the interview process that spoke to you, that clicked, that made it clear to you that was where you needed to be. Can you give us something tangible, some example, something that allowed you to realize this is the place where you need to start your career as a head coach?
Well, and I talked about this yesterday. I think there was some, core principles, core values, core beliefs that they were aligned. As far as, the things that, I felt were needed to build a team and to create a culture of winning. Honestly, I interviewed as much as they interviewed. That's kind of the process, I took there. And I asked a lot of questions, and a lot of those questions were answered in a way that made me feel comfortable. I'm not going to get into the details of the interview. I'm going to keep that private. It was between, obviously, myself, Chris, Steve, and the leadership team here. But I would just say I walked out of there feeling really good about the situation here, and it's something I'm excited about.
Brian, I got to ask you one question about very recent history. In the game on Sunday night, in the third quarter, Jason McCourty made a play that might have saved the Super Bowl for you. What exactly was that play? Who should have had Brandon Cooks? And how do you now, when you look at that play, figure that Jason McCourty was able to make the play?
Well, the play we saw earlier in the game, we talked about the play. We actually had it covered a little bit better earlier in the game, and they went back to it. We knew they were going to go back to it. We had a miscommunication. Jason, and he made the play of the game. It was an incredible effort play is really what it was. And that's something we talk about on a day-to-day basis. Here's a guy.
Brian.
We had a guy make a mistake. We had a guy cover for him, and it ended up being the play of the game. And I was so happy for Jason because, he's had, he was 0-16 a year ago, and he came here and he worked, and this was an up and down season, and I was so happy for him to go out and win it.
So, Brian, on that particular play, Is it the responsibility of everybody in your secondary when they see the ball in the air? If somebody sees that, they just have to go, that it's a fire drill at that point?
I mean, yeah. If you see the ball in the air, you go. We try to have zone vision or vision on the quarterback as much as possible. Thankfully, Jason saw the ball and saw the quarterback throw it, and it was the play of the game.
Brian, you're coming from one of the great organizations that any sporting league has ever seen. And you're going to a team that has struggled for years, hasn't been to the Super Bowl in more than 4 decades. Changing culture can be difficult. You can meet resistance. How closely did you pay attention to what Matt Patricia experienced in Detroit this past year? And what, if anything, have you learned from that may make it easier for you in Miami?
I didn't pay, close attention to Matt. I don't know what was going on in that building. I was pretty focused on what was going on in our building, and that's going to be the case here. I think, with change comes, there'll be some bumps in the road with change. I think changing the culture, like you said, there's there could be some resistance, but we'll work through that. We'll do the things that we think are necessary to help this team improve. We'll do that on a day-to-day basis. I think, Chris and I have talked about this, anything that helps this team, we're going to try to do that and do it as consistently as possible. And anything that hurts the team, we're going to try to, do everything possible we can to turn those negatives into positives.
Brian, how much will you be involved with the selection or of the next quarterback of this team, whether it be in the draft or free agency or keeping Ryan Tannehill? What is your role going to be with, basically the choosing of that next quarterback?
Well, right now we're evaluating the entire team. The quarterback position is part of that. Quarterback, O-line, D-line. I mean, we're evaluating every position. So that will be a collaborative effort. Chris, myself, the coaching staff, the personnel staff. Again, we'll do what we think is best for the Miami Dolphins. And that will be collaborative. We'll go through the process of evaluating this entire team, and we'll do what we think is best at all positions, not just the quarterback position.
Hey, Brian, you seem to be very committed to always being yourself. Can you give us an idea, and Dolphins fans who may be listening to this, an idea of who Brian Flores will be? What kind of a style should they expect in a head coach?
They should expect someone who's demanding, someone who's going to be honest, and try to tell the truth, on a day-to-day basis. I like to get out in front of things and be transparent, but definitely demanding. Definitely someone who is going to try to get the best out of everyone. I try to get the best out of everyone I come across. Every day I have this written on on my wall here is what can I do to help you succeed, and that's kind of my goal here, is to help everyone in the building succeed. It's players, as coaches, that's equipment, that's media, public relations. If I can, I want to impact lives. That's why I got into coaching.
Brian,
that's what you're going to get.
Sorry.
No problem.
Brian, one of the things about being a head coach that first-time head coaches often say is they didn't realize how much stuff other than coaching is involved in the job. And particularly in New England, you guys are, hidden in the leaf pile, basically. You don't have to deal with much at all with the media or anything else other than just coaching your guys. So how different do you expect that to be? And what do you think about all the other parts of your job that you're about to take on head on?
Well, thankfully, I've had some friends become head coaches, and I've been able to, have a few conversations about, all those other, let's call them sub-programs or divisions of the program or the organization that, you have to partake in. And thankfully, I've been a part of, I've worked in multiple, whether it's offense, defense, special teams personnel, had a hand in a few different sub-programs. So I understand that this is a very different role. And, as we put together a staff, and we have some guys targeted, I think it's important to bring good people in and let them do their jobs. I think that's a big part of leadership, and I plan to do that.
Hey, Coach, one more for you before we let you run. 15 years in New England, Bill Belichick, clearly the dominant influence there. Give me the next person. Who else influenced you other than Belichick the most during your time in New England?
Wow, there's a lot of guys. I mean, I couldn't name one. I could name 4 or 5 here. I'll start with Dante Scarnecchia. He's our O-line coach there, and I actually tried to pattern my coaching style after his. He's been a great offensive line coach there for a long time, and he's an even better human being. So I start there. I could go for a little while on this one. Scott O'Brien.
Well, hey, hey, Coach.
Yeah.
My radio people are telling me we got to take a break. So what we'll do, hopefully we can sit down with you at the scouting combine or at the league meetings, and we can rattle off all the other ones and any other influences you've had, because I think it's a great story that you've put together, and we look forward to seeing what you do in your time as head coach of the Dolphins. Congratulations and all the best, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you. All right.
All right. There he is, Brian Flores, new head coach of the Dolphins.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.